Hello everyone, I'm Rod Wortham and welcome to this episode of Race Face Driver Updates here on Racing America. We only had 8 drivers seeing action this week as the 2022 season starts to wind down, especially for our young drivers. We had late model stocks at Martinsville, NASCAR Xfinity Series at Texas, Pro Trucks in Colorado, Bandos and Legend Cars in Georgia, and we sat down with Joe Valentino as he talks about his return to racing in 2023. We start at Martinsville Speedway and the NASCAR late model stock Valley Star Credit Union 300, where 90 plus cars were vying for 40 starting positions and everyone was chasing the $32,000 to win purse. Raceface had 2 drivers competing, Kaden Mozak and Kaden Mozak. Let's start with Kaden Mozak, who was in the number 28 Nick Taylor Interstate Foam and Supply Chevrolet for Justin Carroll Racing. Kaden struggled in qualifying, posting a 56 fastest time and finished 14th in his heat race, missing the cutoff by 4 positions. Up next for Kaden, back to the Trans Am TA2 Series at Virginia International Raceway on October the 9th. Kaden Mozak was also at Martinsville in his number 12 Autos by Nelson Toyota. Kaden qualified 13th, finished 3rd in his heat race, and ran in the top 5 for most of the race, bringing home a 5th place finish. We caught up with Kaden for his recap on the weekend.
Hey everybody, it's Kaden Mozak here. Finished up the next day at Martinsville Speedway. I can say it was a war. It was a war during the AMA, the 200 lapper. We ended up qualifying 13th, I believe, after all the DQs and stuff were settled. Started 4th in our heat race. Finished 3rd. We were at the lead at one point, just got a mix up with a whole bunch of things, but moved on, started 9th in the 200 lap race. Car was okay. I thought we were had better speed than what we did in practice. Ended up being 4th, I believe, at the break. And then when we started off, we were fine and just got really tight and was able to hold on with 5th. Nonetheless, it was a war. We all beat and bang, and that's typical Martinsville racing. So just want to thank Solid Rock Carriers, Friends of Jacqueline, Autos by Nelson Motorsports, RNS Race Cars, Jeff, Kevin, DJ, David, Marcus Richmond, my mom and dad, my girlfriends, Rod Wortham at Raceface Advancement. And we're going to move on and go to Talladega next week. And hopefully we'll be able to win a race at Talladega. That will be awesome for our race team and ourselves. And we'll see what we can do there.
Up next for Kaden, double duty this weekend. First, the Cars Tour at Ace Speedway on Friday night, then NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Talladega Superspeedway on Saturday, and you can catch all of the action on FS1 at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we check in on NASCAR Xfinity driver Sheldon Creed and Anthony Alfredo, who was at Texas Motor Speedway, and Jesse Love back in his super late model at Five Flag Speedway for the Blizzard race. All of that and more when we return with more Raceface driver updates here on Racing America.
My name's Carter Whalen and you're watching Raceface driver updates on Racing America.
Welcome back. Anthony Alfredo was at Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Andy's Frozen Custard 300. Anthony qualified his number 23 first phase Our Motorsports Chevy Camaro in 25th. Anthony was caught up in an early incident on lap 1, suffering damage to the nose of his car. Anthony said it was like driving the car with a parachute on it. Then in the final stage, he was caught up in another accident, tearing off the right front fender. But the team was able to make repairs and finish the race. We caught up with Anthony right after the race for his take on the day.
Pretty much a wreck fest here today at Texas Motor Speedway, but we still got our first phase Chevrolet Camaro in the top 20 somehow. The guys did an awesome job repairing the damage and keeping us in the fight. Not the day we wanted, but better than not finishing. So we'll go on to the next one and be better, go chase and win at Talladega. We can get it done there.
This is a perfect example that you never give up. What could have been a 30th plus finish turned out to be a top 20. Up next for Anthony, Talladega Super Speedway, and we all know anything can happen there if you stay out of the big one. Sheldon Creed was also at Texas Motor Speedway in his number 2 Whelen Engineering Richard Childress Chevrolet. Sheldon qualified 13th and proved early that the Camaro had fast speed, finishing stage 1 in 15th, stage 2 in 11th, and managed to stay out of 2 big wrecks, bringing home a top 10 finish in 7th. Up next for Sheldon, Talladega Super Speedway and the Sparks 300 on Saturday. And you can catch all of that action on the USA Network, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Jesse Love was at Five Flags Speedway in his number 21 Mobil 1 Toyota with Chris Swimmer Motorsports. Jesse did not get the qualifying results that he had hoped for. After topping the charts in practice session number 2, he posted the 16th quickest time in qualifying. Jesse worked his way up to 11th on lap 25, but was involved in a race-ending accident on lap 53. Up next for Jesse, ARCA Menards Series at Salem Speedway on Saturday. I would like to personally invite all of you to check out RaceFace Digital Trading Cards, the only place you can collect digital MP4 cards of your favorite drivers. Free fan enrollment is now open, and if you're a driver, we have good news. This program is open to all drivers. Whether you race on the pavement, dirt, 4 wheels, or 2 wheels, if you can race it, we can make it. Enhance your brand, get more exposure for your sponsors, connect with fans in the digital world, and earn from all of your card sales. Go to racefacedigital.com and join our community. You'll be glad you did. Check out this video. Now that's pretty cool. We're headed for another commercial break. When we return, we'll catch up with Cassidy Hines back in her pro truck at Colorado National, Hudson Bulger and Cole Denton at Chris Motorsports Park in Georgia. Can Cole, Denton, and Hudson Bulger win again at the Watermelon Capital? We'll find out when we return with more RaceFace driver updates here on Racing America.
Hi, my name is Grant Thompson, and you're watching RaceFace Driver Updates on Racing America.
Welcome back. Cassidy Hines was at Colorado National Speedway in her number 3C Frontier Restoration Friends of Jacqueline Pro Truck for dual feature events. Cassidy qualified 9th and finished 9th in the first 20-lap race, but had issues in the second race. We caught up with Cassidy right after the race.
What's up, guys? I just raced my Matco Tools Pro Truck for championship night tonight, and our night did not go the way that we wanted it to. I qualified 9th and then finished 9th in the first main event, and in between the first and second main events, we realized that the clutch was slipping and our issues from earlier in the day were caused by that. So once we figured that out, we unfortunately didn't have enough time to fix it, but we did end up going out for the second feature. We were doing good in the second feature, running with the pack, and then an incident up ahead of us happened and I got collected in the middle of it, ending our night really short. I think we only ran about 10 laps. It's really unfortunate, but we'll be back next season and I can't wait. I can't thank all of my sponsors enough: Frontier Restoration, Fort Worth Screen Printing, Commit to Fitness, Matco Tools, 5280 Pit Lighting, the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation, RaceFace Brand Development, and the Cassidy Hines Racing Team for all of their hard work this weekend.
That's a tough one. Up next for Cassidy, super late models at Colorado National Speedway on Saturday. Hudson Bulger was in his number 17 Byron Outdoor Superstore Can-Am Inex Young Lions Legend car at Chris Motorsports Park. Hudson had issues with the primary car and had to go to a backup car, resulting in a 10th place qualifying effort. He then went on to finish 7th in the A main. We caught up with Hudson after the race.
So we just wrapped it up here at Chris Motorsports Park. Yesterday in practice we had some motor problems with the car that we usually race out here testing, but before that it was pretty good. So we had to run the backup car all day today. I wasn't really comfortable in it. I feel like we could have done a lot better if we would have had the car that we usually race down here. Came out this morning in the backup car. Practice went pretty well, but messed up a little bit in qualifying. Qualifying 10th. Definitely not what we wanted, but worked my way up to 7th there in the race. That's where I ended up finishing. There's a lot of rough racing and there's a lot of cautions. It's a 20-lap race, but tore up some stuff on the car. We'll hopefully get everything fixed and back here next weekend. We got a double feature, so hopefully it should go a lot better than it did tonight for us. I'd just like to thank Can-Am, Byron Outdoor Superstore, Stark Motorsports, XPS Lubricants, Chris Delbeck, Brett Reagan, everybody else make this happen.
Up next for Hudson, back to Chris for dual features on Saturday. Cole Denton was also at Chris Motorsports Park for race number 16, where the Bandits ran with the Outlaw Bandoleros. Cole qualified on the pole, but can he keep up his amazing winning streak at Chris? Let's check in with Cole for his take on the race.
Hey race fans, it's Cole Denton. Today we're at Chris Motorsports Park for race number 16 of the year. I qualified pole, and we were back in Thunder, which is my Atlanta Motor Speedway car, which has been great on the stricker plate since I've got the car. Well, I qualified pole, and when we went green, I dropped the hammer. But the car started getting looser and looser every lap, and I got passed for first and stayed there most of the race, and taking the white flag, I got passed for second, which I finished third overall in Bandits and Outlaws, but still parked my number 46 Inex Bandolera in victory lane for winning the Bandit division. I want to thank my mom and dad, Bacon Racing, my grandparents, Race Base Advancement, the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation, Myers Construction, and most importantly, God. Bye, everyone.
Wow, that's 12 wins in 16 starts for the young Mississippi driver at this track. Up next for Cole, back to Chris Motorsports Park on Saturday. Can he keep up that winning streak? We'll tell you next week. We're headed for our last commercial break. When we come back, we'll sit down with Minnesota driver Joe Valentino as he talks about his return to racing in 2023. So we'll be back with more Race Face Driver updates here on Racing America.
Hey everybody, this is Anthony Alfredo, and you're watching Race Face Driver Updates here on Racing America.
Welcome back. This week I had the pleasure of sitting down with Scandia, Minnesota driver Joe Valentino to talk about his return to racing in 2023. Here are some highlights from that interview. Well, good morning, everyone. Usually I'm saying evening, but this morning we're going up to Scandia, Minnesota, and we're going to sit down and talk with Joe Valentino a little bit. Joe, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, we're an hour before you, so I got to sleep in a little bit longer than you did. But Joe, let's get right to us. We've only got like a 5-minute segment here. But, you know, in 2023, you kind of took the year off after coming off of the Cars Tour series with DGR. Explain to us a little bit what went on in 2022, and then we'll get into your comeback in 2023.
Yeah. So the winter of 2022, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Right over our spring break, actually. I was laid up for about 2 weeks in the hospital. I'd gotten really sick. And we had always kind of wondered if I had this kind of disease lingering.
I've always had a little bit of digestion problems, but now we see obviously it got a little bit more severe than what we thought it was. And so I got laid up for a while and just really spent the whole spring and into summer recovering and just recouping and getting healthy again so that I can come back this next season in full swing. And boy, am I excited to get back behind the wheel of something.
It's kind of tough. I mean, when you're used to being in a race car every couple of weeks and then you just literally have to step away from it. Um, what did you miss the most about not being behind the wheel?
Yeah, it's tough because there's so many things like I really I miss the environment and the people around in the racing industry and just going to the track and just being with the people that I love and being able to go out and go to the track and feel accomplished. I could say that I miss the thrill of racing or just being on the track too, but really it's just being in that environment. It's such a good environment at the racetrack, and it's usually really uplifting and just positive all the way around.
Well, it is a big change because you started quarter midget racing when you were how old?
Yeah, 8 years old. Yep.
8 years old. So 8 years old to basically what, 17, you were constantly doing some sort of racing, and then just to kind of have to step back a little bit from it had to be very tough.
Yeah, no, definitely tough. It's it was weird because it's like every weekend now I have open. It's just kind of wide open. I took up golf a little bit. I've been going golfing pretty much every week, which I had enjoyed, but definitely feels weird not going to the racetrack every weekend.
All right. So what are your plans for 2023 then?
Yeah, so for 2023, we're planning to move back to Wisconsin, running in the Midwest Tour, super late model with Kelly Byers Racing.
So you and Kelly have quite the relationship. I think that's that special bond that gets created between a driver and, in this case, car owner, crew chief, and ex-driver, a very accomplished person. Talk just a little bit about that as we kind of wind this interview down.
Yeah, so I mean, I've mentioned it before. Obviously, there's a relationship that Kelly and I have that's different than most. And I don't know exactly why that is. I don't know if it's because our ages meet a little bit better. He's a little bit younger, so maybe he understands me better. I think our attitudes are really similar. We're both pretty quiet people, but when we say stuff, it generally comes off as not goofy or just fairly smart sounding, professional sounding. And I think along with that, we just think alike so that when we're at the racetrack, I get out of the car and say something. He's like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought too. Or I want to do this adjustment. He's like, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So there's that relationship there and that bond where things just flow so nicely and it just works well together.
I think that comes back to one word: respect. You've got respect for him, the accomplishments that he's made, what he's been able to do. And then I feel like it's in reverse too. He has a lot of respect that he knows you're going to make good decisions. I know conversations that I've had, with Kelly is that, Joe listens, he gives good feedback, and the biggest thing, he doesn't tear stuff up.
Yeah. That's good all the way around, right? It makes me happy, it makes him happy, it makes everyone happy. So yeah, I agree. Respect is a big thing, and I think both of us respect each other a lot. I respect the time and effort that he puts into the car, so I go out not trying to tear it up, right?
Well, somebody's got to put it back together. And I think the happiest person of that is probably somebody in the other room, like your dad, who has to be responsible for the crash clause. He's probably got this big smile on his face. Well, Joe, I'll tell you
Exactly.
what, I really appreciate you spending some time with us this year, or this morning, I should say. And I just want to wish you the best of luck in 2023. And we're going to connect a little bit later, once we get into the season. Will you come back and give us an update on where you're at?
For sure. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, sir.
All right, there you have it. Joe Valento, Scandia, Minnesota, making a comeback in 2023. Thanks a lot, Joe. Other drivers seeing action this weekend include Joey East will return to the ARCA Menard Series West at All-American Speedway on Saturday. Casey Klein will be back in his pro late model at Tri-City Speedway for the Fall Classic on October the 1st. And Grant Thompson will also be at Tri-City with Racing Dynamics on Saturday as well. Carter Whalen will be at North Carolina QMA on Saturday, and Landon Cox will return to North Georgia QMA on Saturday. That's it for this week's Raceface Driver Updates. And remember, if you've missed any of our shows, you can get caught up at raceface.tv on demand. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Make sure to check out Raceface Digital and start collecting digital cards of your favorite drivers. And remember, Raceface Digital is open to all drivers and fan enrollment is free. As always, we encourage you to support local racing in your communities. So go out there, have a great race week. I'm Rod Wortham. Thanks for watching.